how you get the name Auntie.
That's how you got the name.
That's true.
When they proposed the name Ritch Auntie, I'm gonna tell you, I was like, I ain't nobody fucking auntie. I got my nieces and nephews, but I don't want to be nobody auntie. But at the end of the day, if you think about the younger women that surround you, that you've mentored,
I believe that. Through God, I really believe that.
Hey guys, thank you for
everybody.
coming back. Trina's joining me this week after her hiatus from last week.
I'm back.
We are at, this is the Ritch Auntie podcast. Thank you all for following, and sharing. We're super excited to bring y'all this Sunday some things out there's a lot of stuff going on in the world today.
It is.
For 2023, where you say everything goes.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, it's a lot going on out here, man. Trina, did you hear? Let's start with. Did you watch the podcast that I did? I had to do by myself last week.
I did.
And I talked about some of the comments that we were getting.
Thank you to K-Sign for
sat in for us. We had a great conversation last week. But we talked about, Trina, I just want to get your take on it, because I know that on TikTok, that's where we get the most comments at. Mm-hmm. And, people are only watching for like a 10-second clip. Mm-hmm. And they're commenting. What do you feel about? Have you been reading the comments? How are you feeling about that?
I did. You know what? I found it quite interesting from a lot of different perspectives, and that's what I think I want to address. I think for us, you and I, when we started doing this podcast, it was all about our perspective as two women raising kings, considered as men, black men. And so that's why we started our podcast. And when we come on here to discuss topics at Auntie's house, if you just kind of giving everybody a recap of what Auntie's podcast is all about, Ritch Aunties podcast is all about, because obviously there's people out there, men in particular, that I don't know if you're not, watching, as Delcy mentioned, the whole podcast. You're just maybe watching the little 15, 20-minute clips that we sometimes snippets that we put out. Yeah,
not 20 even 20 minutes, 20 seconds.
Yeah, little snippets that we put out just to kind of engage our audience as to what we're doing and what we're talking about for that week. But some of the comments that we got from some of the guys, as I watched Delcy's podcast last week and looked at some of the comments from the previous podcast we've had. I've gone back and looked at all the comments. It's just, I want you men in particular to understand we're not here to bash you guys. We're not bashing you at all. That's not what our perspective on our black men, white men, American men, Chinese men, period. It's our perspective on what we've experienced in our life as women and being aunties, being sisters, being friends in relationships. Never, ever, I don't think Delcy's intentions nor my intentions are to bash our men, black men in particular. That's never our intention. But what happens is, it's just what you guys did, what makes us express ourselves in the way that we do. And that's exactly what this podcast is all about. The reason why we had started our podcast, because when you go to discrediting women and name bashing women based on little snippets of things that you've seen, you don't know us. You don't know where we come from. You don't know anything about our lives. Only thing you know is what you're seeing here, which is unfortunate because it happens to people when you put yourself out in the in society. It happens. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I really want to say I appreciate all your comments and all that good stuff, but it's never that intention. And as far as me, talking about we're lonely and all that kind of stuff. No,
I know. Right?
And a boyfriend. I don't have a boyfriend. I have a man. He's a black man. He's a good man. A good old man is what I got. If that's what Patty LaBelle say. So you guys can, relax and rest. Delcy, as you can see, is a beautiful, beautiful black Panamanian woman. And she can probably, decide and choose what man she wants to spend her time with. But, dealing with men like yourself, this is what we're seeing. And it's sad.
And if you're disrespecting two women that you don't even know.
Right.
Imagine how you talk to the women that you do know.
That's in your life.
Because that's how I look at it. When somebody calls you a bitch or two lonely bitches, I'm thinking to myself, this is your regular tone how you talk to women.
Probably why when I went to most of you guys' pages, I went to your page just to kind of, get an idea of what type of man
you did all that, Trina?
Oh, yeah. I'm a researcher. I do that.
Trina said, let me see who commented.
Yeah.
What
and
you
basically,
found,
they had no postings.
Okay.
Some of you had
they
no
made
followers.
Up the page
I don't know if you made up the page,
say.
or I don't know if you're just a lonely person yourself and have nothing to do. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, I want to set the record straight that we're not here to bash you. We're never there. We're on your team. We're on your team. Black men, we're on your team.
We want to see you do better, just like we want to see women of color do better.
Exactly.
Like we could do better too. There's some things out here.
We all
instead of being out here teaching your daughters to twerk, teach them how to pick up a book and read. Teach them how to invest their money.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Teach them how to pick up a gun and learn how to protect themselves.
Good point.
I'm serious.
Good point.
Like at the end of the day, I mean, that's what we're known for in the black and brown communities. Oh, we out here just dancing, having a good time. No, that's not always the case.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But teach your kids how to invest money, talk about finances, stop the twerking thing, that kind of stuff. Let's teach them how to be. I
totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you on that. And that's funny you say that, because I had a conversation with someone just on yesterday where we were talking about that. And we were talking about how our children are the generations that are coming up behind us and how they're watching us and what we do. And, we need to be teaching them, as you said, teaching them of history. Like, I didn't even know this, guys, but I kept this, and I'm going to, because we're always here to educate and inform, but never to break down or tear down.
Never. Not no race.
But
we are all part of one race, and that's the human race at the end of the day.
Amen. But I found this, and I thought it to be very interesting, but it was saying an article on 14 black inventors you probably didn't know that were black inventors. And it was so funny to me because the person that started the security for us to be able to have the alarm system and all that, she was a black lady.
Oh, wow.
Shirley Jackson. I didn't even know that. If you go on down, Lewis Lattimore, he was a man, Lewis Lattimore. He was with Alexander Graham Bell, who helped design the telephone. That was a black man.
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many. Marie Van Britten, she was a black woman. This is the woman that they said started the security because she was a nurse and she needed somebody to watch over her. Probably because, and here's my point.
Like security cameras, security alarm systems.
Yes, she started that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of stuff out here in society that we can talk about.
Yeah.
Basically, a lot
that we don't know that is very informative.
Yeah, than bashing each other, than discrediting each other. And I think this is where the topic for me comes in as black culture, and I'm stuck on black culture because, like I said, ever since I went to Italy and came back, I've been awakened to a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, for me, I feel like us as a race, as a black people, I've been having conversations like that with people since I've been back because I want to get an understanding, how do you feel? What are your thoughts? And what people are saying is, because we are a black race, and yes, we have been enslaved, and yes, we have been, hung on the cross, in the trees, and yes, we have had our children stripped from us and been raped and all that kind of stuff back in the day, all the way up until now. We're still dealing with this stuff. We're the only race that I think have ever experienced that. Just like we're the only race that doesn't support each other. I feel like we're the only race as a black community, a black culture. We're the only race that doesn't support each other and help instill and build each other up.
Right.
And you guys that made all those comments, you're a perfect example of that. Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. We're here to talk about our perspectives on what life has been like for us.
We're not saying what we're saying is right all the time. It's not.
Exactly.
We're not
it's
right.
It's just our perspective. Everyone has a perspective in life.
And you don't know people's credentials either to say, well, a therapist to say this, that. You don't know people's credentialing. Like, don't stop it. Like, stop bullying people.
I know.
Like, I'm not one to even comment on stuff, but I felt the need to comment on some of the stuff because I was like, damn, you don't even know us. You don't know us as women. And if you talk to us like that, you're talking to your daughters, to your sisters, to your mothers. Like, that's the way you talk to them.
Yes.
There's no respect for women. Because you can say stuff and comment stuff respectfully.
Yes.
I always say, if I don't have nothing good to say on a comment, I ain't even commenting.
Say nothing.
For what?
I know.
And I know everything in this world doesn't need to be perceived as good, because there's bad in some things that people do and put out there too. But that's not how we're trying to, bring our podcast across as. So.
And there could be, honestly, it could be mental. People
Oh, so
are
many
dealing
people out
with
here. Yeah,
mental
health issues.
Yes, and for whatever reason, you're unhappy. For whatever reason, you're miserable,
Seek
or for
help.
whatever reason, you've experienced bad relationships one after the other
Right.
with different type of women, and we all do.
We do.
We've all
I
experienced
said
some of the
that on the
same
thing. I said we
things.
all don't make good choices. But at the
Right.
end of the day, it's not even about making a good choice. If somebody shows you who they are and they're not really showing you the real them, then you can only go by what they're
What they
showing
say.
you.
That's true.
So at that time, yeah, you might be making a wrong choice because you haven't seen that individual for who they really are. You understand what I'm saying? So at that point, yes, and then you start to see red flags, and that's when you can make a better choice. But sometimes we already in it. We don't make good choices all the time. I say that all
And
the
that's
time.
life.
That's life.
That's life. And when you
And
get
there
to
are
be
lessons in that.
when you get to be our age,
Right.
we can then come up with our perspective. That's why we, because
That's
we've
why we
experienced
here.
some things. So just wanted to clear that out, in the air. We
Yes.
love you
I
guys.
wanted
Again,
to
thank
hear
you
your
for all the
feedback because
comments.
I know I was like, Trina, you got to go out here and read these things,
Yeah, I
girl,
did.
because these
I
people
did.
is tripping out here.
I did.
So
But
anyway,
I'm glad though that we are having
get
people that are
But
coming
like
in
producer said, like go out to YouTube, go to Spotify, comment out there, so that once you've watched the whole podcast, then you can rightfully say whatever you want to
Right.
say, and
Exactly.
it would be more accepting.
Exactly.
For me, anyway,
Yes.
I would accept
Yes.
it more if you watch
Yes.
the whole podcast. If you watch a 10-second snippet of something that we're just talking about, you're not even getting the whole picture.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
anyway, so we wanted to comment on that. I want my girl to comment on that. So, come on, Trina. We at Auntie's house. What we talking about today?
I want to talk about this man in jail down there in Fulton County.
I know that was so
that
sad.
was awful.
How does that even happen? Do we have no empathy or sympathy for people because they're locked up, or even not even just locked up? Because there's people like in state hospitals that things happen to, in a hospital that are not being, they're being neglected, just like in this young man's situation.
Exactly.
But how do you, as a guard there, not have empathy or sympathy for people? Y'all know that his cell is dirty. He's, they said that he physically was, like he was there for a couple of days, and then they started seeing things like he was physically declining. So how do you not get involved? Like, where's your, as a people, as a human race, like how do we not care?
I don't understand that for the life of me. And did you see the pictures?
I didn't. I couldn't.
Oh my God! I know the pictures. I mean, he had magnets all on his stomach and stuff coming out of all of his face bugs and everything. I mean, I have a son, as you know, I have a son that has a mental health disability, a challenge I like to call it. But if anything were to ever happen to him, and he were to have to go to jail, then first I'm going to advocate for him. I'm going to the jail, and I'm going to make sure that he's getting his meds, that he needs to take his medicine.
Well, did this guy have a mental health issue?
Yes, they found out that that's why he was in a psychiatric ward.
Okay,
that once
that's
he went
where he
to
was.
jail,
Fulton County Psychiatric Ward in the jail.
they put him over into the psychiatric ward. So, which to me, I'm concerned as to did his family. I know his family has now come forward and they're concerned and probably going to get a lawsuit, which rightfully so. But I'm concerned. Like, did anyone in the family in the 3 months that he was there try to check up on him to find out what was going on?
That's a good
with
question.
him? Because even for the people at Fulton County who were there in charge of taking care of him, of course, they're definitely should be.
Oh, they're liable. You're
they
responsible for the death of that young man.
Seriously,
those guards that were working there that time that he was there, you guys are all responsible for that man's death, because as a person in a position such as a guard, a police officer, like you're supposed to be looking at the well-being of your society. Mm-hmm. The people that you patrol for, the people, even though he's in jail, that doesn't, when somebody's in jail, it doesn't make you a bad person.
I know.
The stigma is this person has been in jail, they're a bad person. That's not always the case. He had a mental health issue. I know. And they locked him up.
But that comes back to
why wasn't he not in a state hospital?
But that's what I was saying. That comes back to where we are with dealing with mental illness now. Mental illness is definitely on the rise, and we're not really giving it the credit that it needs. It's not getting the care that it needs. We're having people out here that are struggling every day, trying to figure life out. Struggling every day. And I'm sure that if he went to jail, they say he was in jail for like a simple battery charge. It was a misdemeanor charge that he was in jail for. So for something like that.
episode and
Probably
just
so. Probably so.
see, that's the part of that
And
we
that
talked about
he's
training.
done. Yes.
The lack of training on the police force, in the prison system. It should be, the training should be so much more than what we see. You know,
they're starting to though.
They're trying to.
I
It
saw in the
seems like
news that they had a police. I think it's over in Cobb County. They had a little room where the police officers can go in and kind of do like a woosah moment. You know, take a moment to kind of exhale if they're having a hard day. Because you got to think about police officers. I'm sure they have their stressful moments well after they're dealing with.
And I'm sure even as a correction officer, I come from a family of correction officers. You know, my older brother was a correction officer for 20-something years. My baby brother's a correction officer in New Jersey, Trenton State, one of the worst prisons in that state. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. But I still would think, even from their perspective and just growing up in the house with them, like empathy and sympathy and them having feelings to care for people. Because when you're in that type of role, you're supposed to care for people.
I know. You're supposed to.
Like the man is in there. Y'all know he getting bit up.
Yes.
How do you not know that?
I don't know. I don't understand. I do not understand, but I'm sure it's being investigated,
and I hope that he gets the family gets the proper investigation.
Me too.
And whoever's responsible for the warden of that jail, you know, there's bed bugs in there. I'm sure people have complained.
And I can't even think. Have you ever dealt with bed bugs?
Oh my gosh! Yeah. No, I'm not gonna say.
Because I can just imagine bed bugs because they say they bite you.
I mean, yeah, they bite you, and one of my coworkers went on a trip, and he got bed bugs, and he brought them home to his family, and he was just like, he was getting bit. He didn't know what was biting him, but he brought them home because they can get in your stuff and go.
That's what they say.
Yeah, they'll get in your stuff, and he was like, he came to work, and he was like, I don't know, but I got all these little bites, and we were all looking at him like, where did you stay at? But he stayed at a nice hotel. Yeah, but there were bed bugs in that hotel. Yep, it was. He brought them home to his family, and it was costly to get rid of them.
Yes, it's very.
They said like $1,000 to $2,000 to get rid of them. Oh my God! And
that would be an investment I'm sure you would want to make too, because they are.
Oh my God! Because you can't get rid of them.
Took that man's life. Bed bugs ate him up to take it. Oh my God!
So they must have been in the cracks and the crevices in the prison. Like, that's crazy. And I bet you they ain't even cleaned it out yet. That's horrible. That's horrible that somebody dies.
Deplorable. That's what it is. It's awful.
It's just deplorable. I just don't get it. I just don't get how people, you see this man in that jail cell rotting away physically, mentally, just not himself. And y'all don't care enough to even say, we need a doctor.
Or something.
We need to check what's in this cell that's biting him. Like, nothing.
For 3 months.
Come on, Fulton County. Y'all are responsible for that.
I wonder if Fulton County gonna still be open, because they were saying that they want to close them down.
Ugh, so, I don't know. But after that incident, they should sue them for everything. Take everything. Shit, that's terrible. That is terrible. It's crazy.
Wish the family could have been in Oregon to get some of that $200,000
that was on the street. Shit, hell, I wish I was in Oregon on the highway taking some of that money. What happened though? What happened? So Trina, we talking about the guy that got mad at his family.
Well, what did he get mad at his family?
I don't know, and he cleared out the bank account and then went on the highway and threw the bills out.
$200,000.
Man, why he ain't text me to tell me?
The family want the money back.
They do?
The family,
how you gonna get the money back?
Yeah, how they gonna get it back?
Did people get out their cars and start picking up the money?
Yes.
Oh my God.
People got out their cars and pretty much got all the money, pretty much.
What?
He said he wanted to help people. So I don't know if would you think that was a mental thing or what? Would you consider that as being something
I'm about to Google that one. Let me Google that while we talking about it. So he just went in there. I don't know. They said they got into an argument or something. I thought that's what I seen.
My Lord. That is something, though. I mean, you got to be something dealing with something mental. I mean, because it doesn't make sense to me to get mad at my family and go spend our whole life savings and throw it out. You know what I'm saying? That's something going on mentally with me.
I could see your mama coming like, Trina, I'm about to bust you up.
Oh my God, I couldn't imagine. That's just not.
You done took out $200,000 and just threw it in the. Oh, dang. Why not just donate the $200,000 to an organization or something instead of just throwing? You want to help people. Be outside the Walmart, give people $1,000 as they walking out. Like, why throw it on the highway though? I guess he figured he didn't want them to. Right, anything
goes.
goes. That's for sure.
2023,
that's for sure.
anything
Oh my
goes.
God,
Just
that
hope
is so
you.
crazy.
I wish I was in Oregon.
Me too, because I would have got out my damn car and got some money too. Get out there, Trina. Get out there and get that money.
Girl. I sure would have.
Oh my God. So as we're talking about money, how do you feel about China? That's right. China is really trying to mess with us over here in the United States. They are not an ally, people. They are an enemy. And I hate to say that about the Chinese, because I know a lot of nice Chinese, Asian people, Chinese people. But they are investing, I think it's $39 billion in Malaysia. So Malaysia will stop using the U.S. currency. Now you really, what you think they trying to do? Throw us under the bus?
Well, I mean,
they don't want our money for
the United
nothing.
States had you know how I feel about the United States right now. You know, I feel like the United States has just done a lot of stuff that other countries, we all, just like life, you know, we all have, you know, been given opportunities to do certain things, and other countries may have done things a lot differently and have achieved a lot more based on their principles and their moral ethics of how they do things versus how the United States do things. And now, the United States, because of the people that we put in office, you know, whoever, some have been good. I mean, I'm just saying over the years, period, from the time of having a president up until now, you know, a lot of decisions probably could have been done differently. A lot of things could have been done differently. Things could have changed, made a difference.
Yeah, and I don't think that they understand how we're being perceived as the American people, how other countries are perceiving us because of the stuff that's going on with our, you know what I'm saying, with our higher ups. I mean,
well, I know that's exactly what I'm saying, because
crazy.
the United States have put themselves in that position. Yeah. That now it's just like if you think about life, if you're in a relationship with us, me and you, K-Son, and all of us in a relationship, and K-Son started wilding out and acting stuff, we all built this together, and now he wilding out, he trying to act like his mind bad. We don't want to connect with him anymore. You know what I'm saying? Right. We'll be like, oh, K-Son, we're gonna let you go. You're gonna do that. We're gonna try to figure out a way how we can get away from him, and that's how it's becoming. So we, as a people in the United States of America, better start paying attention to what's going on. Yeah. Seriously, because this stuff is not being just talked about. This is actually happening. Absolutely. You know, us, our people, our culture, our race, you know, we need to start sticking together really more and more, because every other race sticks together. You have the Chinese people, their families, they all stay together. The grandparents pretty much raise your children. The children will have babies and they'll go out and make a living for the family, and the grandparents will raise the children, make sure they get their education. We have to find ways that we can start incorporating more culture things into our lives as a community, as a people, so that we are not left behind. I noticed that they are doing JET. We are starting to kind of, you know, bring things back into play. The JET magazine is coming back, and they have Pinky, the girl that does that started Slutty Vegan. She's on the cover of JET, a very beautiful cover. Yeah. Shout out to you, Pinky. But she's doing a lot. There's a young lady that I think she went to Spelman College, and she's done a lot. Since God has blessed that young girl, she's done a lot. She's the one that gives back into the community. Yeah. She's always doing stuff in the community. So shout out to her. But yes, JET magazine is coming back out, and they have her on their cover.
What's the first episode, like this month?
I think they said it's in July.
Okay, that's what's up. I like to see that too.
But yeah, so let's go back out there and support that. Let's just go buy our magazines. Let's get back into the JET magazines, because I'm always saying the same thing. Everything needs to go back to the basics. I mean, we have our computers now, so we don't really have to look at paper stuff. We can just pull out our computers and go in and look at it, and that's all well and good. But most of us, I feel, our communities, if we're coming back, we're probably coming back at a level of trying to get to where we want to go, because we're here. Right. So we're trying to get there. But if we can all just start supporting one another, we can all, you know, rise up together. And that's what it's all about. That's what life is all about, period. The United States in this money situation, girl, I mean, if we're not going to have paper money, then what are we going to have? Is it going to be based on our credit? Digital currency is what they're saying. So digital currency, what is digital? We need to find somebody. Is anybody out there?
It's going to be like Cash App. It's going to be all on an app.
What do you mean, like on an app? Like
just like Cash App, is everything banking? Everything going to be on the app? I guess. I don't know. That's what do you think, producer, when they think about digital currency?
No, it's just all gonna be like
on the app.
transferred through your phone just by touching it. You know.
So like if you
So
go
it's gonna be no exchange of money. Just like right now, you go to Apple Pay, you go to the store, you can use your Apple Pay.
So
Now you can use your credit card.
No money.
No
but what
money.
about the elderly people that they're not used to that? Like I know my mom, she's not used to having her phone and taking her phone and tapping it. You know, she's probably not even used to the card thing. You know, she doesn't even really like to use the card. So what's gonna happen with
It's a lot of people that don't like to use cards and put money and switch. I know people our age group and even younger that don't even like to use digital currency or digital, do things electronically. They don't want to do it.
Wow, it's definitely
so. It's definitely going to come down to it.
And when we were in Italy, they didn't want. I told you that they didn't want our money. They didn't want our money. They were like, no. And if they did take it, if it's something cost $6, they said it's $7.50. They put an extra $1.50 on it.
Yeah.
So it's definitely coming down to something here in the United States of America where we need to start paying attention to what's going on because it's definitely something stirring.
Yeah.
For real.
And our dollar used to go a long way. It doesn't anymore.
I know.
They don't want it. No countries. China y'all better pay attention to China. Because China about to oust us in every way.
Yeah.
We owe them trillions of dollars. Trillions. I don't know what that's going to look like, but it's sad that this is where we're coming. And that they will partner with other smaller Asian countries just because they want to control our dollar to make sure that they don't accept our dollar over there. So.
But you see what you said? You said they would partner with other countries,
Small
That's
countries.
what they do. The little small countries. See, we are a society. Our black people, our black race. That's what we could do. We could build up our own communities. You know what I'm saying? Just partner with each other. I mean, we got stars that
and start spending our money in those communities.
Our communities, exactly.
I agree.
We need to start doing that because if you want to change society and all of a sudden you want to, that we've had for years had paper money, you want to just all of a sudden make a decision, we're going to change it, which is possible. We're living in 2023 where anything goes. It's possible. However, why can't we as a black race, a black people, why can't we start now? Changing some things. Why can't we start implementing some new things? Why can't we start get a big community, a big old field, and get us a garden and start growing our own stuff? You know what I'm saying? It's not going to be filtrated with all kind of pesticides and all kind of stuff that's killing us.
That's that fat chicken, y'all. Leave that fat chicken alone.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much
that chicken with all them hormones and stuff. The leg be like this big. When you ever seen a chicken leg be like this big?
I don't like big chicken.
I don't like big chicken either.
I like little chicken.
That's what I talked about last week on the podcast. The fat chicken. Oh my God! But it's so much. It's so much out here going on. We just got to stay awake. We really do. Stay awake, people, because we don't. I mean, I know people complain about social media, this and that, but that's where I get most of my information from. I ain't gonna even lie.
It is.
Most of my information come from Instagram because I don't watch the news though. I don't watch
paper.
TV.
They don't have if you don't read the newspaper.
Nobody buys the newspaper anymore. Maybe the older people do, but now that's electronic too. You can get an electronic newspaper.
No books. You can get them electronic. Everything. So. We can do it too, guys. We can come up
going back to the basics of stuff.
TikTok. What about TikTok being banned in Montana?
Oh, girl, Montana. Well, they passed a bill. They passed a bill to ban TikTok in Montana. So
they were talking about banning TikTok as a total in the beginning. So now
this is like some states already, like Florida already in the universities. I don't think the state of Florida has done it, but in the universities, you cannot access TikTok while you're on the campus.
Wow.
Yep. So, but the bill for Montana, this is the first bill in place for any of our 50 states here nationwide in the U.S. The bill makes it illegal to download TikTok in the state with penalties of up to $10,000 a day for any entity such as Apple and Google's app stores or TikTok itself that makes the popular video streaming app available. Wow. So Montana, don't you download that TikTok now.
Do not.
And it's so crazy because people have become famous on TikTok, famous on Instagram, on these social media platforms. People are making money.
I know.
That's why a lot of people don't want to go to work.
Yeah.
Because they posting 10 videos a day.
Out here. And
there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, now what? You know what I'm saying? For people that are making money, it's a lot of people TikTok famous. So, so Montana's the first state. I do see this spreading. What do you think?
I don't know. Chelsea. Because I'm not like a TikTok. I'm not a person that posts all the time. But it is what's popular now, and you're right. I do see it could. It definitely could, especially if it continues to put out a lot of stuff that's not going to be. It's going to be a threat to society, especially if it's a threat to um, um, the Caucasian race. If it's a threat to them that black people are doing more or brown people are doing more and people are being more persuaded to do what we're doing, then no, they're going to stop it eventually, because that's just how it goes. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Period. That's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it in Atlanta, us over here in Georgia, we are a red state down here in Georgia. I don't know. They haven't legalized weed. We were trying to get marijuana, but I did hear that they were giving out like dispensaries, like for land, for people that wants to start getting into
need to look into that.
growing marijuana. They were starting. I think they were giving out some type of certifications or something, or you could start applying for it. So I definitely think that that's probably going to start opening up and spreading the legalizing marijuana.
So I wonder what's the
happen.
Yeah, what do you need to have, like, as an entrepreneur, like what are the prerequisites for that to open up? I'm sure you can't have a record.
No. I don't know, but that's something.
Probably can't have no
I'll
drug charges.
I'll look into that.
Probably can't have.
I like researching stuff.
Yeah, let's look into that so we can bring it to the people.
Yeah.
The Ritch Auntie podcast followers, because that's where the money gonna be.
It is. I know.
Big money in dispensaries.
The pastor, what's his name? Pastor Jamal Bryant. He had a clip where he was being interviewed. It was a reel or something, and he was being interviewed about. I don't know exactly what the topic was, but he said he was looking for weed smokers. And so the person that was interviewing him was kind of looked surprised, like, you a pastor and you're saying weed, you're looking for weed smokers? And he was like, yeah. He said, because that's where it's coming down to. Weed smokers, they know weed. They pretty much know what's good and what ain't good. They know how to grow it. They know what to do, So I'm looking for them kind of people, because that's pretty much where the money is going to be eventually.
Pastor Brian, hit me up. I might got somebody for you. Let me make 10% of that referral.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I know somebody who can grow some weed.
It's coming down. I mean, as the world changes.
Let me
remember,
stop.
like the soap
my
opera,
God.
as the world changes.
As the world changes. But that's what
be
money
growing
is.
their own stuff. Yeah.
People going to be growing their own stuff, selling their own stuff. Yeah.
They're doing it now.
Yeah. You can definitely, if you got enough land, like at least an acre.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Girl, I saw somebody had something, I think it was on a Facebook or something, and you know how you just be strolling through Facebook, but somebody had like a little greenhouse in their closet, girl. It was like on Facebook, and they had like the little plants with the little, where you could see the little marijuana plants are starting to grow, and they had the lights, and it was in a closet. And I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
God, yeah.
You gotta be careful though, because sometimes they have the choppers go above your house.
That's what they say. And they can see the lights.
Yeah.
The infrared lights.
Yeah.
And then what about the smell though? I'm thinking like if it
Oh, I can't even imagine. Lord. Oh. It'd be smelling like.
Well,
y'all weed smokers, y'all ride by, I be like, somebody's smoking.
Yeah. They got so much going on.
So much different kinds of weed. Some stuff really just is like the gummies and stuff. People take them to go to sleep, to help them rest and relax. And especially for people that have anxiety and stuff.
It's a natural healing element. So
it does have some good healing properties, especially if you have anxiety and suffer from anxiety or
you got
restlessness.
cancer and need to eat.
Yeah,
it helps you with your attitude.
And your appetite. Yeah, absolutely. There's so many good properties to weed. I don't think it should just be legalized anyway. Mm-hmm. Government is making so much money off of that stuff.
But I think everybody is doing it. It's okay. It's okay.
Alrighty then.
But not everybody, but for those that are, it's okay.
It's okay, yeah. It's not. Marijuana ain't making you go out here and kill nobody.
Right, exactly.
Shoot, that's the most important thing.
Right.
You ain't commit no crimes off of no weed. Do people commit crimes off weed? Probably be sitting in the parking lot laughing.
Nope, you ain't never seen that. You never heard a story about somebody getting killed over weed, or they had a car accident because they was high on marijuana, none of that kind of stuff.
That's true, Trina. You don't hear about that kind of stuff. Yeah. All this other drugs out here, though. Oh my God. There was a guy that they found walking around barefoot and naked. I think he was on some type of drug. It wasn't marijuana.
What was that?
I don't know. I can't remember where it was at. I have to look into it. But yeah, he was like out here walking the streets naked and stuff. I don't even know, girl. That's the other drug. That's them other drugs, y'all. Leave them other drugs alone.
And then
They not
sometimes,
good.
when it's situations like that, you're right, because you get a hold of some of these drugs out here, and you just
You
can't
can't look
handle
at these
it.
people dying from fentanyl
Yeah.
because they think, what are they buying it and thinking
I don't know because I'm thinking
it's cocaine
They put in cocaine, perps, they put in everything.
and everything.
So the
Fentanyl
people
is
that's like
killing
selling
people.
it though, because they gave this one man, he had sold it. It was just been, I think maybe a year or so ago, but he had sold fentanyl, sold some kind of drug to this little boy, I think, and the little boy died. And so the judge sentenced him to so many years, and he told him to take his picture, and I want you to keep that picture with you every day of
Oh
your
yeah,
life.
even the guy that killed the drug dealer that killed the actor, the real famous actor. I think he was on The Wire. Yeah, I forget his name.
Ooh.
Michael something.
I don't remember his name, but he was on The Wire, a famous actor, and
And
they
what
killed
happened?
him. Fentanyl was in the. I think he was buying cocaine or something or heroin, and there was fentanyl in it. Yeah, they put it in everything. That stuff is killing people. It should be illegal.
Yeah, it's just way cheaper, so you're getting more product for the amount of
Yeah,
money. So
that's
what it
sad,
is.
y'all. You can't buy drugs from anybody. You can't.
You're not.
And
That's so
please,
true.
if you have children, high school, college students, please talk to them about drugs. Because I know when I was growing up, my parents didn't talk about drugs. They just said, don't do them.
Yeah.
But now you can't even have the don't do them conversation.
you
You
have
need
to
to
talk
have
about it, yes.
you have to have the conversation of if you're going to do this, this is the consequence.
Right.
That's always the conversation
Yes.
I had with my kids. I didn't want them smoking weed, but I always had that conversation. Like, you gotta be a responsible weed
Right,
smoker.
right.
Don't transport it.
Yeah.
Make sure that if you smoking it at home.
And
that stuff.
before you start getting into drugs, when you have children, drugs and alcohol, find out your history, your
Yes.
family history.
Yeah, because
So-
that can trigger mental health issues
because
too.
some families have a history of mental health. Some families have a history of alcoholism. Some
Yes,
families
that's a
have a
good point,
history
Trina.
of being what's that word? A person that it's like on a pornography, families have different genetic makeups. So if you can talk to your children when
Yes.
they're young, you can tell them about drugs. If you know that that's something a part of your heritage, you don't want to do drugs, honey. This
Right.
is something that's in our DNA,
Yeah.
so don't do it.
Especially
And
if your
you
family
inform
background
them,
has schizophrenia
all of
or
that.
bipolar. Drugs
that.
can really impact
it sure can.
those types of disorders. So you
Sure.
definitely want
And it
to.
goes back to what we were talking about with our people as a culture. Talking about, don't be ashamed to talk about your lineage. Don't be ashamed to talk about your heritage to your children, because that's how our children are going to learn our culture. That's how they're
Right.
going to learn who they are. That's how they're going to learn how to
Absolutely.
handle certain situations when they come up in life. When you're dealing with bullies, when you're dealing with people that are going to
Absolutely.
scrutinize you for whatever reason, you don't have to feel threatened by that. You don't have to be moved by that. You don't have to let that move you, because it's okay not to be okay. And people are going to feel and think that the way that they want to. But if we can
Please.
teach our
Yep.
children
Teach them how to cope.
exactly and
'Cause
teach them
we
their
don't
culture,
teach them how to
find
cope.
out their strengths. Because some of our kids are just strong
And know their
willed.
weaknesses too.
All of
so that
that.
you can teach them how to cope with their weaknesses.
All of that.
Like you said, when somebody approaches them about something, if they're being bullied, they know how to react to being bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes just by your response to being bullied, that could just nip it all up in the bud
Exactly.
right there,
It
depending on
will.
what their response is.
That's so true.
But sometimes bullies don't want you to, book at them or whatever. I guess I don't remember being bullied ever as a kid. My brothers used to bully me, but it's like I mean, just look how people talking to us on social media.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine these kids out here, how they talk to each other.
Exactly. Kids
You
can
know?
be really mean too. They can
Oh
be
my
really
God,
cruel. Because they're so
cruel.
truthful. They're so genuinely honest, and you don't even be thinking
Dang.
yeah,
They just-
yeah. So you can
gotta
imagine if
check
they
yourself.
with each other, what
Right.
they're saying to each other, and
So it's just
insensitivity.
we need to be sensitive on how we talk to people. You know what I'm saying? And because people's perception, how they perceive, and how take what you say. Some people take that to heart. You gotta be careful. People are sensitive. There's a lot of sensitive women and sensitive men out here now
Exactly.
too. Their feelings are hurt.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
with that being said, we're gonna go into girl talk, where we talk about
Hey. Girl
all
talk.
kinds of stuff in Girls Talk.
Girl
What Girl Talk is more serious
talk.
for us. So let's talk about some things that we're seeing and what you've seen this week that we can bring to the Girl Talk table.
We can talk about of course, we're approaching the prom. So girls are definitely getting ready for proms. They've been coming into the salon, getting their hair done. I mean, Lacey has been doing, shout out to Lacey at Lacey Lays Hair. Girls, if you are looking for someone to do your hair, check out her books. She opens them. Look at me shouting Lacey out. But she's an amazing hairstylist, and she does a great job.
So she's doing a bunch of ponytails for prom.
Ponytails.
Be careful too,
updos.
parents. Talk to your kids about prom and making sure nobody sticks nothing in their drink.
Yes.
I think last week a young couple here went to prom and they actually got in a car accident and passed away.
That
so
was awful.
To have those conversations, I think those are the things for me that are the scariest. Is like really worrying about your kids and
I know.
I wanted to take them to prom and pick them up. That wasn't cool back then, but it's so much stuff. It's like you got to talk to them about that too. Like being, don't worry about being late. Take your time getting there. Take your time coming back. Make sure you're not drinking alcohol and driving. Call an Uber. Those are the things we need to have those conversations.
With our kids,
But my parents didn't. My parents, when I grew up, my parents just told you what not to do, and you just better not do it. There was never conversation about you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be. No, it was just like you gonna get your ass beat, and you just didn't do it.
Yeah, that's what it was. Right,
and I think in this day and era, you can't raise your kids like that. You have to talk about it. You got to bring an understanding so that they understand where you're coming from as a parent. It's not because sometimes when you say don't do this, don't do that, they want to do it because you keep saying not to do it.
Yes,
exactly. So prom, like you said, it's a big, everybody's getting dressed up, looking beautiful.
Ready for the prom. And it's okay, ladies, if you don't get a date to the prom.
You go by yourself. You go with your girlfriend.
Yeah, we had a young lady that came into the salon last week, I think, and she wasn't going because she didn't have a date. And I was like, you could go with your girlfriends. I think in my senior year, I want to say my junior year or my senior year, I went to the prom with just a bunch of girls. It was about 5 of us.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
So it's okay, ladies. Even guys, if you want to go to the prom, because these are your most treasured years.
Yes,
these are your most treasured years. Yes, enjoy them.
It's
make
something
yourself
that you will always
happy.
remember. Always talking about. Yeah, pamper yourself for prom. Just be careful.
Yes.
Call your parents. Graduation is coming, so people
scholarships are out there. Get into these scholarships, guys. Find out. That's what I should have been looking up, some scholarships to put out here.
I will do that. That would have been. Yeah, we can still do it
because they got a lot of scholarships out here that they're giving out. So, and in particular, there's 5 ladies here in Georgia that I think 4 of them went to Westlake High School, and one of them went
to Westlake. Go Westlake.
One of them went to, I think they said it was some springs over in Roswell, I think. But anyway, these 5 young ladies all have like over $50 million worth of scholarships that have been given to them. And they call themselves the Fabulous 5. And they said they've been friends since middle school.
Wow.
I thought that was beautiful because you're talking about 5 girls in middle school that's growing all the way up to high school. You know how hormonal we can be. And you know how females, how we are. But that's a perfect example of us women supporting each other and lifting each other up and being happy. And that's what they basically said. They said they were interviewed, I think, on WSB TV. And they basically said that they've been friends since they were in middle school, and they just enjoy, lifting each other up. Yeah. They enjoy supporting each other and being beautiful with each other. And I thought that was just wonderful for them to say that. And they said that each one of them, whenever they were getting their scholarships, they would call each other and say, hey, I got this and I got that. And they would just be crying and so excited that each other is, doing really well and getting all these offers. So shout out to you guys,
awesome.
Girls.
Yes, girls. Continue that. And continue to support each other through college. Because that's one of the high school is hard too, but college is an experience where you don't have your parents and you just out there by yourself. Yes. Can be a lot of people go off to college and don't make it through. They end up quitting. So keep in touch with each other, the Fabulous 5, and make sure that you are helping each other through your college years, because those are very trying years too. To be able to finish.
Yeah. I wonder how big the graduation classes are this year.
I wonder.
Because 2020, they didn't. Those kids, I felt so bad for those.
I know
seniors
they
that
didn't get to
graduated.
experience any of that stuff. Even when Saul was in college, 2020, 2021, like they were online. They weren't in a classroom. So now they're back in a classroom and learning. I prefer to learn in front of people. I can't be online.
Me too.
I remember I took a computer class. I almost failed that class. I couldn't keep up. I just couldn't. I can't do it. I can't do no online. It's hard. It's hard as hell.
The focus.
Your focus. Even when I was at Capella, with my doctorate, I couldn't. It was just too much. It's like you got deadlines and you trying to keep up with your deadlines and just a lot to get done. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a mental stress. I would have rather had sat in the classroom and do that, but it's just too much. So anyway, Trina, what is this Atlanta Women's Expo?
Yeah, they're having a Black Atlanta Women's Expo. I think it's in May. What is it? May the 21st through the 23rd.
Okay.
And they're supposed to have, I think, Wendy Williams is supposed to be one of the keynote speaker. But they're having a lot of women there. I think I saw Candy.
So what are they talking about? Is it like a big expo and they're talking like different sessions about different things?
Yeah, empowering women.
Okay.
Yeah, it was basically like health. They're talking nutrition, health, economics, finance, all that kind of stuff. Just empowering women. They just got a bunch of speakers.
Knowledge is power, y'all. To go out here and make sure you're learning. And it's just a women's conference, just for women.
Expo. They say they call it, I think, it's called the Women's something Expo, Atlanta Women's Expo.
Okay.
Atlanta Women's Expo.
I definitely need to check that out. That sounds interesting. You got to keep learning and feeding yourself and growing. Even with us, with the podcast, we're going to an event for podcasters. Like there's stuff that you need to be in tune with and make sure that you're in the know with stuff because
and making networks and connect
that's a big network event.
Yes. Because podcast has really become very, very popular. Like I didn't even know that so many people. Like since we started our podcast, I find myself like going on and looking at different podcasts.
And people are asking too, like how did you get started? What are you doing? Like how do you edit? We don't do none of that, guys. We have a producer that does all of that stuff for us. We're lucky to have Case on because if not, we wouldn't be here because it's a lot of work.
That's so true.
People think that you're just sitting behind a camera, and I'm sure some podcasts are like that. They're just recording themselves and this and that, and not editing and that kind of stuff. We have to sit through and wait for the edits and for the snippets and all that stuff. It's a lot of work.
It is.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
That's why Trina only trying to be here 2 times a month, y'all. Cause
yeah, that is true. I mean, not because it's a lot of work though. It's just that I just have just a busy.
You got a lot of stuff too. Yeah, me too. I got a lot of stuff going on too. But
she's making a sacrifice though to do this, which says a lot.
Absolutely.
And she's making a sacrifice to do 4 or 5 weeks date. What we do
4 episodes a month,
Yeah.
once a week on Sundays. We tape, and of course you gotta have a social media presence. Trying to build up our social media presence because
you do a good job of posting. I'm not a poster, Delcy, but you do an awesome.
I try
and that's
to.
the only way, really, seriously though. If you really are trying to brand yourself and really are trying to get a following, you have to post because people want to know and see what you're doing. Absolutely. That's why it's called follows. You know what I'm saying? People want to follow you because we're nosy. We want to know what's going on. We want to know what that person is doing. Yeah, that's just us. That's the United States of America. That's people. People. There's all types of people out here.
Yeah.
So if you post and stuff, some people never go anywhere. Some people are in their homes 24/7.
Right, working.
They don't have a life.
They don't.
So,
right.
Yeah,
in school, working, and they just they go on social media. And guys, social media is an avenue to date too. It's a dating platform too, where you can definitely get out of there. Get out here and date people and meet people over social media. People that are sitting in different states than you and. I don't know.
It's so true because Facebook has a dating app now, right?
Yeah, Facebook has one too. So there's definitely ways. Ladies, Trina, what was your fact for today? 80,000 single women in Atlanta. Ladies in Atlanta, get your asses on this social media platform.
Between the ages of 18 and 64.
Do not
80,000. That's a big number.
18 to what?
18 to 20 to 64.
Wow. So do you guys hear that? Between the ages of 18 to 64, there are 80,000 single women. And y'all men think y'all can't find a woman. Yeah. Shoot, there's a whole bunch of us out here single. Like at the end of the day. But you know what? I think that. Do you think that number's accurate?
I don't know. I think I went on was researching single women in Atlanta. I kind of Googled it. versus men, and that's what
So
I got it from.
what resource did you get it from?
I just went to Google and just put in there single women. It just gave me an article. I can
Okay.
look it up again if you'd like.
Yeah, what article is that? I'm just curious. Let's not let our followers know because 80,000 seems
That's
like
a
a
big
lot,
number, isn't
ladies.
it? Mhm.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot. 80,000 single women. So that means a man can have really 1,000. 1,000
me
women.
see. I
Nah,
don't know if
y'all
I
can't
was
keep
doing
up
it
with
on
it.
mine.
Hell, y'all can barely keep up with one. So I
Let's
wonder.
see. Okay, so this is talking about income spending.
It could be in your
opportunity. It might have been on my laptop.
Oh, you might have looked in there. We're gonna confirm that number.
Yeah.
I'm just it's just shocking to me. So I wonder how many single men there is then.
I don't know.
I'm curious how many. If there's 80,000 single women just in Atlanta,
Yep.
damn, that's a lot. Ladies, we got competition out there.
Okay, so it says here. It says the survey says 80,000 more single women than men in Atlanta.
Where's the source though?
The source is local news by Adam Carson. I don't know what it's the Atlanta Journal-Constitution.
Oh, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Hey, they bringing y'all facts then.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was some little shady little Google.
They said numbers can tell all kind of stories. City Lab has one. Atlanta has about 80,000 more single women ages 18 to 64 than single men. One of the largest such gaps in the country, according to the analysts in the United States Census data.
Wow.
There it is, guys.
It's a fact. Atlanta Journal-Constitution. You know that's a fact.
Yeah.
They putting facts out there. Ladies, it's a lot of us out here. We all want the same thing. Love, respect, right?
Right.
Love,
We
respect.
do. Men, they want it too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even though there's a lot more single women than there are men.
Man, you got a lot of
but-
choices. Like
yeah.
if one, see, that's what I'm saying. That we talked about that. Tiffany and I talked about quantity over quality. Like you can have a lot of people, even for us women. Like I feel like I get a lot of guys, but I just don't get a lot of quality men.
Guys, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So when you do finally meet a quality man, you really want to invest your time in him because you know that, of course, a lot of quantity out here, but quality in what you get is not always good.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the same thing for men.
I'm
with
looking
the women.
forward to bringing on our men. I'm looking
Me
forward to bringing them
me
in.
too.
Guys,
So
gonna bring
we're
you guys
preparing
in.
actually for that, Trina, because we're gonna just so you guys know, in the next coming podcast episodes, we plan on opening up the phone lines to Instagram and to Facebook to allow you guys to comment, because I've had a lot of guys saying, I want to be on the podcast. I want to comment to what y'all are saying. And we want to be open to having your comments too, because I think that's important to get man's feedback, because we're just giving you a woman's perspective all the time. So definitely, I wonder what the men think about the 80,000 single women. Do y'all feel like it's 80,000 of us out here?
Well, they should, since they're calling us lonely. I guess so. They should. You would think,
Trina
right?
said
I
they
mean,
should.
it's 80,000, and
It's
I guess
80,000
some of them think like that
lonely
anyway.
women out
Some
here,
of
y'all.
them.
80,000 lonely women. No, I'm just kidding. But you know what? Women are pickier now. That's probably why we're single. We're pickier than what we used to be.
That's right.
And it's like you said, once you start to see the red flags, we might throw you back to the sea.
Yes.
And continue to fish.
Yes.
Right?
And there's so many more of us women that are like empowering ourselves, that, you know, we're doing things and making things happening, which is now becoming attractive to each other.
Yeah.
You know, that's becoming attractive to each other. So again, it's 2023 where anything goes. With that being said, I guess should we be wrapping things up?
Yeah,
now?
we are
Or
wrapping
you
things
guys
up.
wanna
So
hang out?
with
Anybody cooking today? You know, what are you cooking? 'Cause
What you
I'm
cooking
so
is,
hungry.
and text the address to me.
Yeah,
so we can
text
come
us
get
in.
it.
Anybody, anytime you guys want us to come and have dinner with you,
We'll
just
sit
shout us
down.
out on a Sunday. We tape on
Yeah,
Sundays. We'd
yeah.
love to come and enjoy a good Sunday meal.
I'm chilling today. I need to get a workout in. That's my plan for
I started working
Sunday.
out too.
Good for you. Are you trying to get sexy for the summertime?
You already
Yes.
I
It's
am
gonna be a
trying to
fabulous
get sexy
summer.
for the summer. I just don't want to be fat and miserable and hot and, you know, in the summertime. I just want to be, you know, my clothes to fit
Right.
comfortably, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's it.
absolutely.
Be healthy. I just want to be healthy and
Be
feel
healthy.
good.
That's the most important thing,
Yeah.
because you can lose weight and everything and not be a healthy weight loss either.
Exactly.
So you definitely want to make sure that your hormones are balanced, that you know, your blood pressure, all that good stuff. So work out safely. 80% is diet, 20% is exercise. So make sure that your diet is right.
That's what they say.
That's the most important thing. Because you can lose weight and not even have to exercise. So definitely, look, 80% is diet, y'all. Make sure that you're eating healthy. That's the most important thing. So with that being said, we are going to let you go. Thank you for following, and sharing the Ritch Auntie podcast. Super excited to be here. Continue to follow our journey as we continue to build this plane as we fly it. Deuces. Love y'all.